So this is Speycaster. It's one of the middle pools in the Castle Grant beat. And I've decided to do this wee video clip today to show how to fish this pool with a spey line rather than a shooting head. And the reason for that I'll explain actually when I'm in the water, but it's a cracking pool, looking pool for a spring or a running fish. A right nice even flow across the pool there, and then it comes a wee bit more necked up here, but a beautiful looking place. Never fished it before, so I will explain. The bottom line is that the gillies told us that, interestingly, that most of the fish are on the far side of the stream there. So you've got the harder stream and most of the fish are on the far side of that stream. So not to worry so much about the middle part of the river on this side, but to concentrate on the far side. So that means that I'm gonna have a look at this with a spey line rather than a shooting head, which I will explain a little more when I get in there. I'm gonna show you this fly here just now. It's a cracking like spey pattern tied with traditional materials, and good for the job, I reckon, today. We shall see. Rod I'm using is it's one of our cadence. It's an Alta Special. Because I need a wee bit of a long line in this pool, I'm going to cover the water on the far side of the stream there. And there we have the benefits of a spey line. It's just one or two pulls back of the running line and then bang that fly out again. The bottom line here, guys, is that you want your fly to be fishing in that area that the gilly has asked you to target as much as possible. You know, so don't worry quite so much about the area in here in the middle, but you want it to be out there and fishing in that good area. And that time I've just put a slightly squarer cast out. I've put a bit of a mend upstream. Again, with the spey line I can mend it much easier than I can with a shooting head. I've just not got the same problem with any line management, and because we're here on the Spey, we've got such a beautiful even spread of current. It's basically the river does it itself. I mean, it's one of that rivers that it's just so easy to fish because the current is just lends itself to swinging a fly basically. So here we are, 1, 2, 3. I moved and left my wading stick upstream. I'm going to just elaborate on that once I get this next line out. I'll go slightly further downstream with that one. So it's something like about 35 metres a line. So basically this is a fisherman's pool. This is a pool where you need a good cast and you want to get over the top of that stream. So when the fly then comes onto the stream from that side, that's where the fish are likely to be, or so I'm told. Anyway, if we've got any fish here at all today, we're talking about the 28th of May 2024. Beautiful day, as you can see, absolute stunner. Stunning day on Speyside. The last time when I first fished this down about an hour ago, it was funny, I was getting eaten alive by midges. There were loads of midges, but now fortunately there's a wee bit of a wind get up and that's keeping that little biting buggers off me. Oh, that's not a good cast, not a good cast. I heard the swish of that one. I felt that the cast, I never got the pick up just right off the water, so I knew that my anchor wasn't going to be right there, so not such a good one at all. But you'll note that I left the cast, because at the end of the day, good cast or not, or bad cast or not, it won't really matter, because this river is so fast that whenever that's a better one. Yeah, away it goes, bang, right over. So we'll let that one come round in the same place again. We'll just put a wee bit of tension onto it that time. So that'll make it fish a wee bit faster out there, just as it's hitting that stream. Sometimes you can just manipulate it by maybe giving it a wee hand line. Most of the time in a situation like this, it won't need it, but we can go for that. That's good. So I'm gonna, this time, get my spey line back to the right place before I move, get my wading stick firmly on the ground, and then that gives me the old third leg. Seen some people leave their wading stick like this. It's no good. You're going to get your line all caught up in that. So it's better just to throw it right back out the road in there. And it's good to have a nice heavy wading stick. A heavy wading stick stays back there. There's an overly light wading stick is not much cope, to be quite honest. But it just gives you security when you're fishing down a place like this. Again, some people like using flotation aids, and I can say that it's probably a good thing to do. But he doesn't practice what he preaches, you can see. But if you feel like you want a flotation aid, wear a flotation aid. But anyway, so that was a slightly squarer cast that time, and this time I'm going to take a step down as that one's out there. So I'm going to put a wee bit of slack on the line and just speed it up again, just momentarily out there. That's good. So this is a cadence spey line that I'm fishing. Like I said, 60 feet with a 10-foot poly leader, and then another 8-foot leader on the end of that. This pool. Oh, wait a minute. So that's just not what you want. There we go. Single Speycast, and covering the whole pool without any trouble at all. Even though we've got a wee bit of a downstream wind, it's no problem when you're making that style of single Speycast. The small downstream one won't harm you at all. And this is just such a beautiful pool to fish. Absolutely stunning, really. It's one of that ones that you just feel there could be a spring fish running through and just stopping in there. Really, every cast you're going down, absolutely beautiful. There's another line. You can see that technique that I'm using produces so much line speed. The line, the loop size is tight. That's keeping the line under the wind. You know, so many people, I've heard instructors, they say that, oh, stop the rod high, stop the rod high. Well, just have a wee look at the next cast here, and you tell me, if I stop the rod high, what's going to happen? Or do I stop the rod high? Just have a wee look at this one. Have a wee look at the rod. Here we go. Nice setup. Bang! Not much stopping the rod high there. When you're talking about shooting heads and heavy, stiff rods, and you're throwing this heavy object, it's okay. And not so much even heavy, but short object, i.e. a shooting head line or a Skagit line. It's, well, not a Skagit line, but it's okay to say to someone, stop the rod high. But very often when we say that, when people are trying to cast a Spey line and you say stop the rod high, this is what happens. They end up getting a tail and loop and no energy in the rod because they don't load the rod enough. The rod has to go through a much longer cycle, so it finishes down there or out there, as the case may be, but certainly not stopping the rod high. If we were talking about like competition casting, when you're in a bit of a controlled environment, then yes, for sure, you can easily do that, and I'll give an example of that just right now because we can do it here, but to a certain extent anyway. And so again, when you're doing that, it would be a boom up there and throwing the line over in a big sort of 30-degree loop, so that the line carries on much further. The only problem with that is it goes so high in the air that when you see a lot of the guys doing it, if you have any wind whatsoever, it's going to kill that cast completely. So, or any headwind, it will. Whereas in a fishing context, if we look at this next cast, in a fishing context, and you've got windy conditions and you stop it down there, bump, then no problem at all, absolutely none. That'll just shoot straight through the wind and everything's going to be hunky-dory, as they say. But that's fishing that area of the pool that the guys, the gillies told me to concentrate on, which is good. And I'm just making my way down slowly. Every cast you want to take maybe 2 steps down. You want to fish through. This time of the year, you're fishing for running fish. You know that there are maybe going to just be a fish resting up in there. So, so you want to move down fairly quickly in the pool. You don't want to be hanging around. Yeah? Thanks very much, guys. Cheers, lads. Thank you. Have you fell in yet? No? I was just wondering if you had fell in, you'd seen any fish when you were in. No? You saw one yesterday? Were you in? Aye. Here, enjoy your day, guys. Thank you. And you. Cheers. So there they are. That's the canoeists away doing. We can see them. They're all the guys. In the old days, people would shout and bawl and get themselves upset about other river users. But as with everything in life, it's always good to be courteous to people that are getting as much pleasure out of the river as you. So important to make them feel welcome in the river, as they hopefully will to you as well. There's always that few people who spoil it for everyone else, of course, and upset the apple cart. But here, that's just in life, you know. Life in general's got these 5% of absolute idiots. You only need to look at old Putin and his mob to see that, you know. Another bad cast, by the way. Another bad cast. Should be thinking about what I'm doing. But a bad cast that time. But sometimes a bad cast will just move the fly in a slightly different way with the slack line as it lands out there. So it's always good just to let it fish out. But because it was a bad cast, and that's 2 bad casts, Ian, down here now, I'm gonna check my fly. So we'll check the fly by raising the rod like so. and just pulling, pop it over there, and that's a nice easy way to check the fly. You can see it there coming up and everything's good about it. Back into the water, roll it out, and within a second, bang, we're back in business, over in the right place again. So yeah, that little trick's all about controlling the lift of the rod and making sure that everything's on the surface before we move the rod quickly. So here we are. Now, got some more people. This is quite a public stretch, this. But so a nice lift, push out with the lower hand, wang, and there we are. How we doing? They're very friendly, that pair. They might lick you to death, but that would be about it, you know. I'm saying they're very friendly. They might lick you to death. They're enjoying their day as well. Yep. So that's it. So we've got a path up there, public path, and the folk are enjoying their walk as well. What a magic. Sorry? No, I've not caught anything, but I almost got caught by a few midges earlier on. They were biting me. There were a good few midges around, but no, I've not seen a fish yet. I've not seen one yet, no, but I'm sure there's going to be one in the next wee while. Definitely. I feel confident. I hope so. Aye, at least that big. Have a good day, guys. Enjoy, eh? Now, when I was talking to that people there, I could feel that something wasn't just quite right about the fly. So we'll just have another real look at that. Something just wasn't quite right about it. I don't know what that something was, but it was interesting, shall we say. So I'm going to have another cast there and just see. Maybe, so that's always a good thing, to get the line absolutely dead straight. When you're using a long line, it's important that the line is dead straight when you pick up here. So that's it, straight, everything's good. So I can anticipate the anchor and everything's going to fly away really, really well there. That type of cast is all about anticipating the anchor. It's making sure that the rod doesn't really stop in its casting cycle. So we've got a nice wee downstream wind here just now, which a lot of people think when you're doing a single spey cast, you shouldn't be doing it in a downstream wind. Well, I'll show you why. With that last cast I made, the rod goes through the horizontal, then turns and straight out, so that there's no stop in the rod at all. Whereas with the old style, or another style of spey casting, what we call the circle up technique, what we do is this: we come down and circle up. We have to wait for the D-loop, and as we're waiting for the D-loop to develop or fall back behind us, fall back onto the water behind us, then the D-loop itself can be destroyed by a downstream wind. However, it's only because we're having to wait for that D-loop to fall. You know, so if I circle up, I have to wait for the loop to fall, then go forward, and you can see that fly coming really, really quite close to me here. Not a good method when you have a downstream wind, that circle up method. However, the continuous sort of sausage or torpedo method means I go through the horizontal. The loop's already down there, so I don't need to wait for the loop because the loop is already flat. It follows that horizontal. I'll just do that one again. This is a really lovely pool to be fishing, by the way. But I'll do that cast one more time. And so that one, it goes through the horizontal, bang. So we don't have to wait for the D-loop. The D-loop is already part of that little torpedo. So you go back on the horizontal, you turn and go forward straight away. You don't dackle behind too much. Great day to be in the River Spey. Absolutely beautiful. It's been enjoyed by lots of people. People walking their doggies. People canoeing. And people trying to catch a salmon. Fabulous. Oh, lovely cast, beautiful. Just everything was so joined and connected like a ballet dancer. That one, you know, so many times I've heard people say that cast deserved the fish. Well, if any cast deserved the fish on the way down, it was that one. Sometimes it's really bad actually getting a fish on a crap cast, you know. So we've made about maybe 2 or 3 poorer casts. I would have been really pissed off if I'd got a fish on one of that poor casts. I would have been really, in fact, so much so that I'd probably be shaking it off. Not. Definitely not. Here, I've seen so many fish caught in a poor cast. Don't ever think because you didn't make a good cast, you're not going to catch a fish. That's totally wrong. But I tell you, this 14-foot-6 rod, it was made. I actually made it. I put it together for playing big fish on the Alta and for easily casting sort of 35 metres, 40 metres a line. You know, with a longer belly line, a longer belly Spey line. And it is just a gem of a tool to use for these conditions. When we're wading in this deep and we're targeting the far side of that, we don't want to be wasting too much time doing what I'm doing just now. Spey line's fantastic for that. There we go, a little push out with the hand, and away it goes again. Beautiful. As Bernard Matthews would have said, beautiful, man. Beautiful. I've got a watch nowadays, 12:20. I've got enough time just to come down here and hopefully catch a fish in this beautiful pool. I'm actually getting used to this wading stick. I didn't ever like wading sticks, but my dad always said, God bless him, he always said that eventually you'll need a stick, son. I said, nah, I'll never need a stick. Well, here, the day has now come. There we go, nice slow lift, push out that lower hand, and boom. There we go. Now, what on earth's that little dog got? Yep. Good boy. Good boy. Real. I have a feeling the wee dog's got an eel. But that'll rhyme with being feel. Here we go again. This line's really easy to gauge where I'm at with it because it changes colour at the end of the rear taper and goes back to blue again. But the green segment of the line is actually a marking. marker. It's a gauge to tell me that that is a 10 weight line. So every cadence line that is green in the belly, I know is a 10 weight line. If it's blue in the belly, it's going to be a 9 weight. If it's orange, it's going to be an 8 weight. If it's white, a 7. If it's red, a 6, and so on and so forth. That's the way it works. It just makes it really easy when you're actually looking at your bag of lines, as we all tend to have lots of lines nowadays. But if you're looking in your bag, you sometimes don't know what it is you've got. With this system, you can actually just pick out the line straight away by the colour. Nice to have a easy colour code system. The rod here that I'm using was put together by Ross James. It's a beautifully built rod. Using a blank of our design, and it's just an absolute pleasure to use this one. It's light and very responsive but strong. Handles that 70 feet of casting head really easily. It's just a joy to fish, to be quite honest. Nothing difficult about it, just so easy to make that cast. It's simple. So there we go. I think what I'm going to do is, I've got half an hour to go, so I'm going to put on a smaller fly, and I'm going to have another run through this pool with a smaller fly. Yep, the colour of the water would suggest a bigger fly, the height of the water would suggest a bigger fly, but salmon always like something different, so why not give them something different? That's what I'll do. So there we go. That's how you get out of the river when you've got 2 new knees. And that's been a pleasure fishing that pool for sure. Nice bumping into these other guys that have been enjoying the river. The dogs have enjoyed it, haven't you? Which dogs? Really? And a fish is just a bonus.